Yeah, good luck,
Hello,
buddy.
hello, everyone. Welcome to another live vid from Mike the Beast Benson. We're doing our top 10 favorite films of 2024. I know it's a little bit later, but it's January. Not much is out now. So why not? So to start things off, my favorite movie theater snack other than popcorn, cookie dough bites. Chinmo, what's yours other than popcorn?
Wow, way to put me on the
Or put you on
spot,
the
Mike.
spot.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna say this for years and years. I would not eat at the movies because one, it was way too fucking expensive, and two, I always had to pee really bad, like halfway through the movie. But I started going to my local theater, O'Neill's. If you're ever in Massachusetts, Littleton, Mass, O'Neill's. I'm gonna give them a shout out because it's the best theater around. I go on Tuesday nights. I pay $5 for a ticket, and I get medium popcorn, a drink, and chicken nuggets and fries for like $20. It's great.
Wow.
Not tenders, but
No
nuggies.
tenders. They are tenders. They're tenders. But
Okay.
it's the kid. It's the kids. So I'm like, I don't need a full adult meal. I'll get the kids. But it's great. But other than popcorn, after that little rant, Bunch of Crunch. Come on.
There you go.
Bunch of Crunch is a solid one. I go a Coke Zero, no ice, and then I do Raisinets are my
Raisinets. Wow.
go-to. Yeah, I
didn't
love
realize you were a
Raisinets.
90-year-old woman. Oh,
Hey, Raisinets are damn good, man.
fair enough.
So thought that was a fun little icebreaker to start the vid. And so yeah, top 10 favorite movies 2024. A couple caveats before we get into the list. We included documentaries. And also doing something new. It won't be incorporated a lot in this video, but other top 10 videos do this thing they call punt. So if there's a movie mentioned at one spot, but it's mentioned by someone else at a later spot, we hold off from talking about that until it's been revealed. So you might see a little bit of that. Other than that, let's get right to it. I will say I saw 51 films from 2024. Before we start, if you guys want to mention how many you saw this year.
Yeah, I saw like 30-ish when I added. I don't keep track like you do, Mike, but I looked at my Cinemark app. So
yeah, I also don't keep track. I keep all my movie tickets though. I was also in the 30-ish range.
Cool.
So
awesome. So yeah, for number 10, Sean, we're gonna punt you. So I went with Speak No Evil. Now the fun thing about this movie was for horror fans, this is a remake from a movie from 2002, Danish film, and then this American version, James McAvoy. He is worth the price of admission. The thing about this film is that the trailers were just beaten over your head for at least like 2 months. It felt like every movie that was coming out, you got this trailer. If you watch sports, it was like heavily showed during NBA, MLB. It was constantly shown. All that aside, once again, James McAvoy is great in this film. He's one of my current, favorite actors. I'll see anything that he's in. This movie does a good job of balancing horror and comedy. And the final act is where the real horror really picks up. And yeah, if you're a McAvoy fan and you want a fun little, you can make a case maybe it's more thriller. There's a couple kind of, violent scenes. But yeah, Speak No Evil is my number 10. Chin, how about you?
I did not see it, but I do like McAvoy and I like Mackenzie Davis, I believe, who is also in that movie.
Yep, and Scoot McNairy too.
Oh, he's in a movie that I'm going to talk about later. He's a great actor.
Yes.
As you know, I love horror as well, but I will be truthful about this movie. I thought it was very slow, about 3/4 of it. So I still have to finish it. Sometimes when I know I want to finish a movie, I'll put it on pause just so I don't fall asleep to it. So I thought it was a little bit slow for about 3/4 of it. So I haven't reached the end. And again, trying not to spoil anything for anybody, but so I'm hopeful to return. The acting in it though is superb by everyone. The children, the adult actors, Ekvor is awesome. So looking forward to finishing it. I just haven't yet.
Gotcha. And then talk about your number 10.
I went with Furiosa. Fury Road from was it 2015? I don't even remember when it came out now, but from a handful of
about
years ago, was one of the best of that year. I absolutely loved it. This was fun. I don't think it was as good, but I enjoyed it. George Miller, the director, has a lot of fun in this world. Anya Taylor-Joy is incredible, and Chris Hemsworth has a lot of fun playing the over-the-top villain in this already kind of kooky, crazy, outlandish world. And I had fun with it, and that's, if that's all I get out of a movie, I'm happy. So this is why I cracked my top 10. I enjoyed it. The acting was great. Beautiful action scenes, very well directed. Yeah, so that's my number 10.
This one I actually missed, but how about you, Sean?
This is going to be a slow conversation. I have not seen this one. I'm not a.
All right, on to number 9, guys. Let's go.
Yeah. I was going to add some more, but I don't have anything to really add.
So, Chin, how about your number 9?
My number 9. I hope Dave the brother sees this because he'll be proud of me for having this on the top 10. But Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. It's the newest one out of after their trilogy that they came with, Rise and Dawn and War, which if you haven't seen are so much better than they should be. They're incredible. They're great. And I highly enjoyed this. It was a fun, I don't remember the exact number. It's a couple hundred years after War, Planet of the Apes.
Oh.
So it follows a brand new ape as the main character. It's gonna kill me, but it's the same girl that's in The Witcher. Freya Allen, I think is her name. She's great as the human in this one.
Yep, is Freya Allen.
Yep, Freya. Thank you. But the new cast of apes, Kevin Durant, who played the Blob and a bunch of other amazing movies and Lost, great actor.
We'll talk about him later in this movie. Video.
he's the villain in this. But he's the villain. I absolutely loved him in this. I had a lot of fun watching this movie. It was great. So yeah, it made my number 9.
Yeah, I honestly forgot this came out this year. I did see it. So I need to keep track more of my 2025 flicks, I feel like. So I think I'm gonna start to do that. But
so just kick Sean out. Sean, go redo your list. We'll see you in 20 minutes.
Solid movie. It probably would not have been in my top 10. I like all of the new Planet of the Apes flicks. I think they're all really well done in an age where CGI is hit or miss with movies. I feel like the Planet of the Apes franchise is a hit every single time.
Fair, very fair.
I've only seen the first of the original Planet of the Apes. So that's something I'm slacking on, but I'm hoping that they'll finally make a monkey out of me one of these days when I get to watching all these.
You honestly don't even have to watch the other ones. No. They take place as the world goes to shit. So it's you don't even have to watch the older ones, which I mean you should, because they for the most part cinematic classics. But these new ones you don't have to watch anything and just go into them. They're great.
Sorry, I keep hitting the wrong button. I apologize. But yeah, that's definitely it's a franchise I've been looking to delve more into. Sean, how about your number 9?
So mine is the worldwide phenomenon known as Wicked. So I enjoy musicals. I'm just gonna be flat out, Mike. I think you do as well. So Wicked is a solid Broadway show.
Yes.
I think I'm more influenced. You'll see a little bit in my list influenced by my kids as well. So they really love this. movie. I think it's extremely well acted by Cynthia Erivo, who was just phenomenal in singing of this. Like, even though Ariana Grande's in it, who's a phenomenal singer as well, Cynthia Erivo just really knocks it out of the park. I think it's funny with this one because a lot of folks didn't realize that there was a two-parter.
Yeah, that ending kind of comes up on you, like, oh damn.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, it does. It comes up on you, and it ends on the one of the, again, no spoilers, but it ends up on one of the probably top song in the entire Broadway musical. What's up, Noah? So yeah, I really enjoyed this. I find it funny though how true diehard fans of the Wizard of Oz do not recognize Wicked. They think Wicked is just fan fiction.
I mean,
No,
it
the
is.
It is.
It is fan fiction that, you know, got popular, which is cool.
Yeah, yeah. So but yeah, so I thought it was a really fun movie to see. So I added it on here in a year that I thought was a little down of sort of large blockbuster movies. I thought this one filled the later year time slot for that.
Like you mentioned, yeah, I did theater in high school and college. I was involved in musicals. Love Wicked. Have not seen it on Broadway, but there was an off-Broadway tour that came to the Oakdale Theater in Connecticut, and that was phenomenal. And that blew me away. That was the first time I was introduced to it other than hearing the song. So I unfortunately have not seen this yet, waiting for it to get, you know, on one of the streaming platforms, but look forward to it. I've heard, you know, mostly good things. I wanted to ask before I asked Chin about this. How is Jeff Goldblum as the Wizard?
I mean,
He's Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum. Yeah, exactly. He's Jeff Goldblum. I don't even think he, like, whenever I see him now, he's not. If it is that character playing Jeff Goldblum.
If you told me that he just happened to walk on the set while the camera was rolling, I'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. It's
he is good though. He is good as the Wizard.
Yeah, he is.
I will say I've never seen the Broadway play of this, but I did see the movie and I enjoyed it quite a bit. I'm gonna go on a quick little 30-second rant here though. If you are in a movie and you're excited about it, that's awesome, and I hope you enjoy it. But shut the fuck up during a movie. If you want to sing during a movie, that's great. Go to a specific showing for it.
And they have those.
Yeah, which is great. That's awesome. Yeah. They should have it for something like this.
Yeah.
Also, if you're going with your friends and you're super excited about it, amazing. Talk about it after and before the movie, not during, because my movie going experience was ruined during this because of the people behind me. There was a group of like 40-something-year-old women that literally every time something happened, whether it was funny or not, had a very obnoxious laugh, which, you know what, you can't help your laugh. I get it. I understand. But as soon as something would happen, they got the, oh man, that's so us, isn't it? At that volume, at that volume. And it pissed me off to no end. And it ruined this amazing movie for me. So people, if you're going to the theater, it's not your fucking living room. Act accordingly. Don't be a dick and ruin it for everybody else. Rant over. Thank you.
Yes.
I've become a running joke in multiple friend groups I see movies with, but I'm the person who will say something if it.
Oh, I did. I've said things before, and I will continue to say them.
Same.
You know what? And I get it. She had. I'll admit she had a little bit obnoxious laugh. I'm not going to falter for that. Sure. You can't. You know, it's fine. But if you're talking this loudly to someone right next to you, to where the whole theater can hear you, fuck off.
It's not.
Sorry for all the swearing, Mike. I apologize.
This could be a whole other video, like worst movie, like movie going pet peeves and stuff. I could go on, trust me. So
my rant's over. Overall,
and people that snore.
I mean, hey, man, you can't help that, but just don't fall asleep during a movie. I did enjoy the movie though. It was a good movie. I did enjoy it.
So my number 9, as everyone knows, I'm a horror fan. Loved mostly my favorite genre, if you count it as a genre. I love the Universal monsters. And this was a fun take. Lisa Frankenstein, a fun take on the Frankenstein movies. and it's directed by Zelda Williams. You see that last name? Yes, it is the daughter of Robin Williams. Her big directorial debut. She's done some smaller things. I think this was her first motion, feature picture. She did a phenomenal job. Written by Diablo Cody, who's also scripted Juno and Jennifer's Body. And with Jennifer's Body being horror, Juno like a coming of age, a little bit of a comedy. This movie, kind of like Speak No Evil and a couple other movies on my list, balances the horror and comedy genre really well. Catherine Newton, she's kind of developed, a great career with the horror scene. She was, the recent Ant-Man, Quantumania, but now Supernatural, and she's in another movie on my list, which I got confused. I got with a Kevin Durant picture on my list. So I'll get to that a little bit later. But back to Lisa Frankenstein. So Catherine Newton is great in this. Cole Sprouse, yes, one of the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody twins, as well as the Big Daddy, the kids in that movie.
Big Daddy.
Good movie.
He plays the monster, and their chemistry is great, and he's got little to none dialogue. So most of his acting is facial expressions and reactions and mannerisms. And I'm a sucker for that with wrestling, with theater and movies. So their chemistry was great. And there's so many nods and Easter eggs and references to other classic horror films, Universal Monsters. Catherine Newton's character's room is littered with all that. So I love this film. Any of you guys see it by any chance?
I did not.
I'm gonna have to check it out because again, I love horror. It sounds like it's right up my alley of a easy sort of watch. So yeah, I will 100%.
Yeah,
definitely
definitely more of like a horror comedy, but there are some like fun splatter scenes, if that makes sense.
Okay,
so it's not going to give you nightmares, but it's definitely, not for the weak of heart.
So maybe Chimo could possibly watch it.
I think he might like this one.
Listen, I can do horror just fine. I can't do slashers. I don't know what it is. I can't do
a slasher.
Can't do slashers.
Got it.
Cool.
There was not really any slashers this year.
Yeah, thank God.
So, how about what do we got for our number 9s and about 8? Sean, why don't you start us off?
8, yes. This one was a late ad for me. I actually watched it when we were chatting beforehand. You guys had said that we can add things that we've watched in 2025 that came out in 24. So I watched Conclave. And honestly, now thinking back, it should probably be higher on my list. This was a phenomenal movie. I'm not like a huge like religious guy, but you don't have to be about this. Like, I'm not giving anything away. It's about the Council of Cardinals. You can see them on there, and I think the previews said that too. But phenomenal acting. The lead actor, I'm gonna pronounce his name wrong.
Say it.
Ralph Fiennes. Had Stanley Tucci in it. John Lithgow.
It's Voldemort. You can say Voldemort. It's okay.
So a phenomenal movie, phenomenal writing. The end scene was very surprising. I know why it's been, and if you guys watch it, it's been labeled as sort of controversial, just because it has to do with the like church, and whenever you do a movie related to the church, you're always going to get that, right?
Do they confirm that the Pope is in fact a lizard in disguise?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't want to get Mike's channel canceled, so
I went to Catholic school for 12 years, so you got to watch your words right now.
So, but it was, again, I think just for the acting alone, because there aren't a lot of how do I say it? Like, there's just not a lot of scenes, so they're always just talking to each other, and that has to carry the weight. But I think if I were to redo this would probably be a little higher on my list now that I've had a week or two to sort of gel on it a little bit.
Cool.
Yeah, this was one that I had not seen, and since we had some time before this video, I contemplated, making this one of my late editions. I never got around to it, but I know, that's an all-star cast right there, and I've been heard there's a big, twist that a lot of people didn't see coming. I know Mitch Howard of Terrificon
Lizard.
was a fan of this movie, so it's definitely one on my list now, especially that it is streaming.
Yeah, and I think it's something where I don't normally go for movies that get nominated for a lot of things. This one was nominated for a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I want to.
Cool. My number 8, Late Night with the Devil. This is a movie that I think was in the can for like 2 years, if not more. Is a movie that I follow a lot of the horror, outlets, and when I heard this concept, I was sold right away. It's Dave Dastmalchian, who, if you're a fan of like anything, you've probably seen him in a movie or a TV show. He's been in multiple DC things, multiple Marvel. Yeah, I think multiple Marvel things. He was in Oppenheimer, but he's always been like the character. He's never been the lead of a film. So this is the first time he's been front and center. It's an awesome concept. So he's the late night host, Jake Delroy, and he's going up against the late night show, Johnny Carson, in the ratings, and he's losing. So this is kind of a found footage film. It takes place on Halloween night. They're like on the verge of, being canceled. So this Halloween night show, it's bonkers. And it is fun. It is a great time. It's an awesome concept. The supporting cast is great too. There's some great scares in it. I've only heard stuff of old late night and some of these from my father and watching clips. So to kind of watch this film, it makes you feel like you're in the crowd. And without giving away too much, I definitely recommend this film.
I had not heard about it, but I'm going to watch it because I'm a huge fan of this. The lead, he was Polka Dot Man.
Yes.
In Suicide Squad.
Yep.
I don't like horror, but I will get around to this because I like him and I know he directed and did everything else with this movie. So
there was a little controversy. There is a little bit of AI used, but to my knowledge, the extent of it was, if you've watched old 70s stuff, and between like the little ad that pops up on the screen was like, "We'll be right back." There's like a little sign of like the night owls, which is what he called his fans. So it's like a little like animated poster of like an owl. That was
nothing that actually affects the story.
None at all. So
I just read that they added it because this was a huge film at South by Southwest.
Yes.
And it was not used in that version. And then they added it after South by Southwest. So that's what I was just reading about it. And it looks like they sort of like apologized a little bit.
It's very minuscule, and it's not like they AI'd a character or a effect but yeah, I definitely recommend it. And if you're looking for something new to watch on the Halloween time, it's great. This came out, I think, in the spring, so it was very premature in a way, but I still enjoyed it, so I definitely recommend it. Chin, how about your number 8? A movie that was on my honorable mention, so I'm happy it made
mine as well. It was on my honorable mention.
My number 8, Twisters. If you told me that they were going to make a sequel to the 1996 masterpiece that is Twister, starring Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt, I'd be like, "You're crazy. What are you doing?" And then I watched this movie and I was like, keep doing it, because this was great. This was exactly what I wanted out of a movie. It was a fun popcorn movie. The cast was amazing. Daisy Edgar Jones was incredible. Can't wait to see her in more things. Glenn Powell is an absolute, just he's all around. I don't know how this guy's not in more stuff. He's in everything. He needs to be more.
Handsome
fella, very well acted. But no, the cast was amazing. And honestly,
Superman's in it.
Yep, the new Superman. Yep, he's kind of a villain in this, a little bit, kind of. But this movie, and it's not really a spoiler, but you actually don't have to see the original movie
No,
at all. It's a
there's a
standalone film. Highly enjoyed it. It's exactly what I wanted to. It's like a surprise. It was much better than I thought it was going to be, which was amazing. So yeah, so this is cracked the top 10 for sure.
this was probably like I said, my 11 through 20 could all have fit into the 10th spot.
Yeah, I agree.
So this
I
was a
agree.
fun one. If you're looking for something to watch with the family, or you missed it and you have a night to yourself, it's put on, get some popcorn popping, and get a favorite beverage of yours and just sit back for the fun ride.
Yeah,
Right.
I think it's one that sort of like on a lot of these more like smaller ones, right? It's like your pick or even mine. It's like there will be people that won't really like it, but Chin, as you said, this is just a great sit down, eat some food, watch it, and I saw it in IMAX.
Oh,
There you
nice.
go. Now you're talking.
So I try to see since I have
water, you got your hair all messed up.
not the 4D one, but I've got an IMAX theater right around me, so I try to check out as many things that were filmed in IMAX. I'll only see the ones that are filmed in actual IMAX in it. But yeah, this one solid. Again, surprised. I thought, like, what more can you do about tornadoes? But it was fun.
It's great. Fantastic movie.
Definitely. On number 7, I'll start off with another take on a classic Universal monster. There's got some controversy when the trailer dropped, so it's a slight spoiler, but there's a group of criminals that are
say the movie, Mike, for
my
people
bad,
listening.
guys. This is Abigail.
There you go.
And there's a bunch of criminals are hired by a shady character played by one Giancarlo Esposito, who's phenomenal in this. They kidnap a wealthy man's daughter, who's a ballerina, but what's shown in the trailer, she's also a vampire. And madness ensues. So they're in this mansion with a kid vampire, and this is another one that balances horror and comedy. It's a great ensemble. Like I mentioned, Catherine Newton, she's one of the supporting characters. Dan Stevens, who had a pretty good year. He's in one of my honorable mentions. Melissa Barrera, who was big in the last 2 Screen movies. These are the same people that produced the last 2 Screen movies or directed Radio Silence. So they brought her back along. She's the lead. She does a great job. And then Chin, you mentioned Kevin Durant. He's in this. And like if you've seen Wild Hogs, Lost, Chin mentioned a couple others, The Blob. So it's fun seeing him in this too.
Great actor.
The gentleman from Euphoria who sadly passed away, Angus Cloud, he's one of the bad guys. It's fun. It gets bloody. It's a vampire. It takes some twists and turns at the end. I gotta spoil this one laugh. No, I won't. But
no spoilers. Come on.
I won't. But there's a very funny joke in this where they're getting things together to attack and defeat the young vampire, and Dan Stevens delivers it. That's all I'll say. So out of curiosity, did any of you guys see this movie?
Nope.
Yeah. This was this one I had on my honorable mentions. I actually had it in the 10 spot before I felt obligated to put Deadpool and Wolverine in it, just for the sheer fact of the cameos. I won't go into it more because we'll talk about it in a little bit. But Abigail, great movie, great take on a vampire movie having a child vampire, and yeah, it reminded me a little bit of 13 Ghosts, sort of that sort of like trapped in a mansion type of thing, trying to figure out how to get out type of vibe. Which is another great movie that I haven't seen in a while that I have to watch again.
Tony Shalhoub classic.
So, but yeah, really solid movie. I think this was a streaming movie.
This was a theatrical film.
It was okay.
This was like April, early summer, late spring.
Okay. Okay, I did not know. I thought it was only a streaming release. So
But it is streaming now.
it
There
is
you go.
streaming.
Cool. Chin, how about-
Yeah, my number 7, I went with A Real Pain. This by no means is a happy-go-lucky movie, but my God, is it incredibly well written / acted. I think Jesse Eisenberg writes and directs this. He also is like one of the main stars of it. It's about two cousins that go through a Jewish tour through Poland. They visit like a concentration camp. It's a very heavy movie. But Kieran Culkin, if he doesn't win the Oscar,
really?
I'll be shocked. He was incredible. I feel like most people probably know someone like him in real life. Feel like, oh, I know a person like this, kind of like just how he acts, but he does it brilliantly. It's very heavy movie. I'm not even Jewish, and there was very just heavy moments. But it's an incredible film. If you haven't seen it, it's not very long. It's relatively short as far as movies go. But I highly enjoyed it. The acting was what really carried this movie, and that may crack my top 10 for me. Yeah, again, not a happy. You're not going to feel great about it. A lot of the stuff, but it's very well done. It's good movie.
I remember seeing this. This is one that I never got to, but I know Jesse Eisenberg is a very talented in front of the camera and behind the camera. So this is one I'll definitely, now that made your list, definitely put it onto the watch list.
Yeah. There are some laughs, of course. I mean, Kieran Culkin. I mean, the jokes between the two of them, they're cousins, but they're very opposites. So there is some humor in there, but it just overall great film. We got Sean.
So my number 7 is the complete opposite of what you just went through. It is and this is going to be a little weird for me, but a romantic comedy is my number 7. So this one cracked my top 10. I don't know, when I was making my list and making things out, I never expected this one to crack it. It was just a fun romantic comedy. You can watch it with your significant other. Zendaya is really well done in this movie. The two guys that are leads with her are not super well-known actors, at least to me. It's Michael Feist and Josh O'Connor. Mike Feist did a lot of Broadway, and that's where he sort of got found. But yeah, not like a whole lot of in-depth on this one, other than I just enjoyed it. I actually, looking throughout my entire movies that I watched, there was not a lot of comedies, I thought.
Because Sean doesn't like good things. He doesn't want to be happy. Sean just wants to be sad.
No, I just meant in 2024 there was not a lot of phenomenal like comedies types things. And this one's not truly like a comedy. One of my honorable mentions is probably the largest comedy that released that actually got bumped out of my top 10 for Conclave. But yeah, just an overall solid romantic comedy type rom-com.
I did not see it. I heard nothing but good things, and I will eventually see it.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Moving on to number 6. Shin, start us off.
I went with Saturday Night. This is a I guess biographical. It's a lot of stuff mixed together, point of view history of the first ever Saturday Night Live airing. The whole movie takes place in the 90 minutes before the first episode goes live. If you have ever watched SNL at all, you'll enjoy this movie. The cast is absolutely phenomenal. Whoever casted this movie deserves all the awards because every single person is great. The guy that plays Chevy Chase played the Riddler on Gotham.
I was going to ask you, he was good.
Oh, absolutely incredible. Dylan O'Brien as Dan Aykroyd. The whole cast. The guy that plays Lorne Michaels, girl that plays Gilda. They're just very super well casted. Super. I mean, it's not. I've always enjoyed SNL, so I enjoyed the topic. It is. I mean, it is funny. There's a lot of comedy, but it's also a lot of heart to it as well. But it's highly recommended. Great movie.
Yeah, this was one I never got around to seeing, but definitely want to.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Sean, your number 6?
Yeah, mine is a streaming only entry. So Caddo Lake. This is a HBO movie. I refuse to call it Max. It will be HBO until my last dying breath. So this and speaking of your actor that played Aykroyd in your flick, he's the lead here, Ewan O'Brien. So he had a pretty good year. This is a supernatural horror, I guess you can call it supernatural horror. Really well done, acted by some younger actors. I won't call them children actors because they're not quite
Young
children.
adults.
Yeah, young adult actors. And yeah, it was actually my favorite horror movie that I had seen up until, because when did this come out? This came out like mid
2024.
Came out in October. And but I felt like, again, a lot of the horror flicks that at least I saw were all towards the end of the year. So it was really that sort of first one that I saw during the horror time, which is October.
Yeah, this was one I remember you texted me when you saw this. I had a bunch of movies I still wanted to catch before the end of the year, so I never got to seeing this, but definitely struck my interest, and definitely one I'm definitely gonna check out.
Oh,
Didn't
and
see
it's
it. Might see it. I don't know.
produced by, so it's not written or directed by him, but it's produced by M. Night Shyamalan.
He had a year this year. He had a pretty good year. Well, he was active this year, I'll say. I'll go into my number 6. Beetlejuice. I won't say it a third time. The original is one of my all-time favorites, and what I wanted from this film was just a good sequel. We've had a lot of these legacy sequels with comedies that have just been forgettable, not good. So for me, call me easily entertained, but I had a blast with this film. It was great seeing the old cast back. Michael Keaton back as, Beetlejuice was great. Like, never skipped a beat. Winona Ryder back as Lydia. Kathleen O'Hara, I think, steals the show.
Yeah, she really does.
She's coming off that, that Schitt's Creek high, and she's just like she once again, she had one of my favorite laughs in this film. It involves a moose, I believe. I could be wrong.
I know the exact scene. Yep.
So she was great. I'm a big Jenny Ortega fan. She's been great. I loved her in the Scream movies and Wednesday, the Sabrina Carpenter music video. And I thought what the storyline with her was neat. One of my kind of cons midpoints about this film is there's a lot going on, which I totally understand. That was a lot of people that didn't like it. They said it's just several different movies in one. I liked how it all ended at the end of the day, because with this movie, once again, I wasn't expecting it to be better than the original. I wanted to be a fun sequel to it, and I got that with this. Once again, call me easily entertained, but William Dafoe, I'll mention him a little bit later, but he's also a scene stealer in this too.
He was phenomenal in this.
A great concept for his character.
I also enjoyed this quite a bit. It was on my honorable mentions. I don't have as much nostalgic value to the original, and I actually like this one better than the original.
Interesting.
But I enjoyed it quite a bit. The cast was amazing. Catherine O'Hara definitely does kind of steal the show in all her scenes. Michael Keaton, as amazing as always. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with this.
Yeah, I agree. It was my honorable mention. It was the other comedy that I had referenced a little earlier. It was just just a another one of those popcorn flicks that to me you can't go wrong with.
Before we're on number 5, quick, you mentioned comedies, rom-coms. There wasn't much of those, but a lot of the funnier films from this year came in like other genres. Like I've mentioned, like Lisa Frankenstein. We'll get the Deadpool and Wolverine. So in past years, we've had the Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney movie, and then the Jennifer Lawrence, where she's like I forgot that movie when she's like
the quasi prostitute movie. Yeah.
A solid flick though. I laughed.
Those
it was funny. It was funny.
Were fun this year. I have one honorable mention I'm going to talk about quick, but so there wasn't a straight up comedy that really stuck out this year, but
like
genres.
Yeah. There's one on my honorables that's like an action comedy type. So yeah.
Sean, how about you start us off with your number 5?
Yeah, number 5 is one of my favorite horror franchises. So it's A Quiet Place. This one is a prequel, and it's still John Krasinski wrote and directed it. There's not, again, another movie where there's not a lot of different actors involved. It's very solitary just with them because it's a post-apocalyptic type of thing. So I'm gonna destroy her name, but Lupita, I get a little help here. There we go. Thank you. Terrible with names.
Yale theater student.
Joseph Quinn, who was Eddie in Stranger Things. So he was one of the other lead actors. It was just awesome because it just shows how everything went down of how we got to a quiet place where we've seen it. So cool that we got that. Hopefully we get some more in this franchise as well. I don't know if we are or not, but hopefully we do.
I didn't see this one. Love the original. The second one I thought was good, but wasn't needed. But I've heard people say this
one is way better than the second one. Yeah.
So
I did not see the first two, but I did see this one, and actually it almost cracked my top 10. I highly enjoyed it. The story itself is amazing, and it's just kind of set to the backdrop of this crazy alien invasion.
That's a good point. Yeah.
It's a solid flick.
Chin, you're gonna get punted. And I'll go with my number 5, Oddity. This was, I thought, a very strong year for horror. You've seen my list already so far up to this. Oddity, really cool idea. So you've got twin sisters. One is murdered in the opening. That's not a spoiler. The living sister is blind but also clairvoyant, and she runs this cool antiquesy pawn shop, cursed items store. Oh, if like the Warrens from The Conjuring opened up a shop, this would be that. And she ends up spending time. This is takes place in Ireland. Most of it takes place in this awesome Irish castle where the sister was murdered. So she goes in and spends time with her brother-in-law and his now new girlfriend wife. She brings over this awesome kind of a new horror icon-y kind of thing. You kind of see it on the bottom of the poster. It's this wooden just creature, and it's like Chekhov's wooden creature. You're waiting for this thing to do something. There is a little bit of a mystery to how her sister was actually, what happened with her, and she kind of digs into it. This was a good horror film, scary moments, and one of the most iconic ending scenes I saw this year. This was a quiet one. It had a very small theatrical release. I saw it when it hit Shudder. So it's definitely more on that paranormal kind of thing, but a cool, iconic creature. And I'm curious. Chin, I'm guessing you haven't, but Sean,
I did actually see this.
Really?
No, I didn't.
I have not seen this. I'm kind of ashamed that I did not see it. It sounds amazing. I've added it to the list. I'm gonna watch either this one or that the TV one that
Late
you
Night
had
with the
said.
Devil.
Yeah. So
Both great films.
whichever one. So
Also, I know we're moving on to number 4. I just want to point out you punted my number 5 of The Wild Robot, also Lupita Nyong'o.
yes.
Just throwing that out there.
So let's go to number 4. Hey, look at that.
Knew it. Knew it.
So, how about Sean? You lead this one off, and then Chin and I will go.
Yeah. So this is my second streaming only. This movie probably surprised me the most out of any movie I watched this year. It's Rebel Ridge. Backdrop is a dude takes on some racist hillbilly cops and kicks the shit out of them, which is amazing.
Sounds, I'm
Right
sold.
up my-
So it's really great acting. Who is I don't think he's in a lot of different stuff. Aaron Pierce.
He is going to be.
I say, didn't he just get cast as Green Lantern?
He did.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
That's Jon Stewart right there, baby.
Okay,
So,
so
I
our
like-
future Jon Stewart was a great actor in it. Great sort of action scenes. Again, it's set in a small town, and he goes up against some hillbilly.
This is a
cops and it's-
solid cast. Anna Sophia Robb, Don Johnson,
Lord.
Miami Vice himself, David Denham, Roy,
Yes.
James Cromwell. That's a
You're
solid
much-
cast.
Better at that, like cast stuff. I just enjoy the movie.
I like trivia, Sean. I like it a lot,
It's
especially
true.
pop
It's
culture.
true. It's true. It's true. So yeah, did you guys see it at all?
I did not. I do
On
want to
my
watch it now,
radar.
though. Now that you're talking about it.
And then you guys know me, huge Superman fan. One of my all-time favorite movies, though, superhero movies. Superman or Christopher Reeves. You'll believe a man can fly. The backstory, I learned so much. I'm gonna try to keep this short, but tearjerker of a film, but not a documentary, but produced, made very well. Who they have speak, and then you learn about. There's one iconic comedic celebrity who I didn't know was good friends with the Reeves. So that
Oh, you
was
didn't know that, huh?
I didn't know that.
Oh.
So that was a fun surprise. I saw this with Jesse, Planet Mayhem, and the brother in theaters. It had a small run. There were like 2 small runs before it went to Max. But if you like documentaries, and I'm not a big documentary guy, but something like this, I was definitely going to see. And it's a tearjerker, but if you're a Superman fan, a Christopher Reeves fan, it's a very well done, well made documentary. Chin.
So I've actually never seen the original Superman, but I loved this movie. No, I'm absolutely kidding. I absolutely love the original Superman.
Blew his mind.
I just want to see Mike's reaction. This was an amazingly well crafted documentary about a topic, about a man, really about a family. That you think of Chris Reeves, you think as Superman, and then you think of that horrible accident. But it dives so much deeper than that, and the impact that how he was as a man versus how him and his wife Dana were, along with his kids and his ex-wife or ex-partner, his friendship with all these other celebrities. It's such a well-made documentary, an absolute tearjerker of a documentary. But it's super well done. Even if you have never seen Superman or have heard of Christopher Reeves, you're going to come out of this learning something and having what I would hope a new profound look on life, hopefully, after it.
Yeah, I would
That's
say
my
I have
take.
not seen it, but I do want to see it. It's just on a longer list. Documentaries sort of get pushed to the bottom.
It's
of
fair.
that list.
Honestly, I pushed this one for a little while. I watched it on HBO when it came out. just because I was like, I know I don't want to sit down going in because I know going into it, I'm like, I'm gonna just feel horrible. Like
Yeah.
it's not gonna make me feel good. But you know what? As much as it is a tearjerker, it's also very uplifting and
Yes.
it's amazing.
You heard that? That's my all-time favorite score. Shocker, but like the iconic John Williams Superman score and
hmm
I was gonna add another documentary when we did it. There's one called Music by John Williams.
Oh,
that was-
really?
That came out
is
this past year.
It did, and
God, I missed
it
that.
is very good. I watched it one night. I didn't have it on any of my lists because I submitted mine, or I made my list and I wasn't going to change it after you said documentaries are allowed, so I didn't talk about it. But it's a great one.
I had this on here long before Mike said we could do documentaries.
Hey,
Honestly, guys, look for our next list, top 10 documentaries.
yeah.
So,
All time.
of all time. I'll do that list right now. I got some solid ones.
Well, Chin, why don't you start us off with your number 3?
Sure. Because you guys said the same number too. I see what you did there.
Sure.
My number 3 was A Complete Unknown. Just came out, and I think it came out on Christmas. But it's the Bob Dylan story. Timothy Chalamet leads an absolutely stellar cast in this James Mangold film. Even if you're not a Bob Dylan fan, you'll enjoy this movie. I went with my buddy who he couldn't even tell me one Bob Dylan song, and he came out of it be like, I think I'm on a Bob Dylan kick now. I'm like, damn right you are. But I can absolutely see Chalamet winning some Oscars and some awards for this. Boyd Holbrook as Johnny Cash was phenomenal. I forget the woman's name, and it's upsetting, but she was in Top Gun Maverick. She plays Joan Baez. She's incredible. But Elle Fanning is in it. It's such a well acted movie with a very cool. I know it's kind of a distorted view on history because who's actually telling the story and what actually happened and everything like that. It moves fairly quickly, kind of keeps jumping through his kind of career for the most part, at least the beginning of it. But it's just super well done. Absolutely one of the best films I saw this past year. Loved it. Would love to watch it again. Ed Norton as Pete Seeger is in it. He's great. It's kind of that whole Bob Dylan and how, people with folk music, and then how he kind of goes more into the rock and roll, but still having that same message. It's super, super well done, super well acted. Go see the movie.
Once upon a time, you're just so fine.
Get the harmonica, man. Bust it out. Let's do it.
So if it wasn't for this, my number 3, I probably would have saw this movie. Both these movies were kind of later in the year, and Nosferatu was on the, my most anticipated movie for the year. So I didn't get to check this out, but if I can't get in theaters, I'll definitely watch it as soon as it gets to streaming.
Yeah, it's a great movie, and I mean, I don't know, I didn't know a ton about Bob Dylan going into it, but they don't kind of shy away. He's kind of a dick. He's kind of an asshole in some of the stuff. You're like, okay, it seems like they're playing this fairly truthful. They're not making him out to be like an all-around saint, which is cool. Yeah, great movie. Definitely watch it.
I did not see it either, but it would definitely be one that I will stream as soon as it's out.
But yeah, like I said, Nosferatu, you know me, I've been, Universal Monsters. I actually saw the original 1922 version earlier this year to finally I started even earlier, but I couldn't get through it because it is a silent film. But I've always loved seeing the images of Max Schreck's Nosferatu from, way back when. So that even once I finally watched that got me even more excited. The director, Robert Eggers, is someone that I was okay with. The Witch, not my favorite. The Lighthouse bored me. Loved The Northman. And I'm going back and forth which one I like more, Northman, Nosferatu. Lily Rose Depp is great in this, daughter of Johnny Depp.
She is, I think she is like the next actress to really like pop out.
what she does in this film, that one scene especially, like, oh my god, blew me away. Nicholas Hoult, he's having a great like run of like this year, last year, going into
because he's a phenomenal actor.
He's Beast. He was
He is
Renfield. Now he's also in another Dracula movie, vampire movie. Aaron Taylor Johnson, I didn't even know it was him. The costume, he had the facial hair, and he kind of felt out of place for me. He wasn't terrible, but his character is probably, I thought, the weakest. Once again, Willem Dafoe steals the show. And my last thing I'll say, I'll let Sean take the two. I got two quick things. So many shots of this film I want as a poster in my room. The cinematography is phenomenal. And Bill Skarsgård was, he studied Gregorian chants amongst other things, but his take on this character was great.
Yeah, I'm not going to spend a lot of time because you went through everything that I was sort of going to say. I think, as I said, Lily Rose Depp hasn't been in a lot of mainstream stuff.
Yoga hosers, come on.
She 100% has her acting chops of her father, and that same sort of type of lost look sort of acting. I don't know how to describe it, but what Mike just did is exactly what it's sort of that type of wandering mind type of acting. Just a phenomenal movie. I will say, as I was leaving, there were several people walking out basically saying like, what the fuck did I just waste my time with? So there will be some people that are like, I just did not get it and like it. So I don't think it's for everybody, because it definitely has some scenes that that will probably not want, or that folks will not be loving. But
that last scene, that last shot.
Yeah. I mean, that last one will probably be, but
posters I want in my room.
Really, only half of it.
Yes.
Well, I've not seen this movie. Will I see it? Maybe. Will I not? Maybe. I don't know. But I do know the internet's all crazy about it. Is you can get a 6-foot cutout of Skarsgård's Orlok now, which everybody's like all about.
I don't think I want to wake up to that.
That's all I have to say about this movie.
Middle of the night.
So let's go into our number 2. Chin, you're getting punted.
Yeah.
I'll start this one off quick. So this is my biggest surprise of the year. I'll do this somewhat quick. I had a Michael night. I had a night to myself. Want to go to the movies. At the time, it was like the Crow remake, the Blink Twice Channing Tatum movie. But when I looked on the app and I saw Strange Darling was playing, I'm like, oh, that's a movie. Had some buzz on Twitter. I don't know much about it. I've heard it's great, and I didn't watch a trailer. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go see this movie. I never do this, and I went in blind, and I am so happy. Chin and I talked off air. I'm gonna try my best to not watch trailers anymore, because this film, JT Molnar is a guy I'm gonna look out for. He's the director. Giovanni Ribisi, actor turned cinematographer. I know he's been in the Avatar movies and a couple other things. This movie looks
other things. He's all over the place, man.
Exactly.
Saving Private Ryan, Friends. Yeah, he's everywhere.
It's that Giovanni Ribisi, and this film just looks another one. I want a ton of posters on my wall. The soundtrack, like the music's. So this is. I don't want to say much without spoiling, because going blind, I definitely recommend. The soundtrack by Z Berg. This movie's broken up into chapters, and there's a little musical interlude between, which is great. And then I'll end with saying Willa Fitzgerald and Kyle Gallner, who Sean's going to talk about on this slide, maybe, possibly, were the two leads, and they steal the show. Going blind, don't watch the trailers. It's probably available to rent or buy, and if it hits streaming, I definitely recommend this movie.
You sold me with Kyle Gallner. I'm a huge fan of him. I've loved him since Smallville.
Yeah, he's great in this. And there's a fun surprise if you watch the iconic TV show, one of the best. I like shouted out like that character's name in the theater. There was only like 2 other people in the theater with me, but I was like, "Oh, get him!" So it's a fun.
So you're the guy that Chinmo went on that rant about.
No, only because
You know,
the other people in the theater joined me. I swear to
Yeah.
God, they're like,
see, there's
"Oh,
a time and a
Sims!"
place. I'm gonna,
Yes.
you know, sometimes it's okay. Sometimes, you know what's happening. You want to cheer, great, you know. But yeah, fuck that woman in Wicked.
So yeah,
Ruin the movie.
I think you both would like it because it's not. It's horror. It's more thriller than horror.
Yeah.
So I recommend this to both of you. I think you guys both would dig this one.
I may just watch it. And Deadpool Wolverine getting punted. That was
It
happening.
is.
I wonder why.
So Sean, close us out with
Smile is again, it's one of my newer horror franchises. If you watch another one of Mike the Beast Benson's videos that we talk about our favorite horror franchises, Smile's in my top 10. So Smile, this is a great sequel. I thought it acting again is really well done. Naomi Scott really can play that
She's
sort
great.
of scream queen type of character that not a lot of actresses can get right because it seems overplayed a lot. But she really brings the emotion into it. And I just love the freaky atmosphere of this franchise. The ending is like, oh shit, something's gonna happen type of thing. So definitely will be more Smiles. No spoiler alert, but yeah, I just overall, this was probably one of my most looking forward to movies of the year, just because how much I loved the first one.
Yeah. Chin, did you see this?
No.
So, this was an honorable mention, so I'm happy, Sean, you made your list. Yeah, quickly, just everything you said. Yes. Jack Nicholson's son was in this, and in the other
Ray
poster,
Nicholson,
I
yep.
almost went with his. So yeah, this is.
Yep.
I'm a
Of him
fan of this.
smiling.
Yeah. So
He really took his father's Joker smile and made it perfect.
it was like, yeah, here's Johnny mixed with the Joker, and that's his smile
Yeah.
in this.
Yeah.
So let's go to our number one. Let's say Sean and Chin could lead off this one.
All right. I'll go. I'll represent the Wild Robot. I did not think a children's animated flick
So
was
good.
going to be my number one, but it was. It's a phenomenal movie. My kids are reading the series because it's 3 or 4 books.
Oh.
Oh, I know that.
So
I thought it was just
phenomenal novel for children as well. I love animated flicks that you can just feel the emotion, and they did a really amazing job with the emotion of this one. And it makes you sad, you know, and it's yeah, I think because having kids, I'm a little bit more apt to like that sort of children's movie more now. I think DreamWorks, and this is maybe sound a little sacrilege, but I think DreamWorks has far and away surpassed from an animation studio out of anything that Pixar or Disney puts out nowadays. Like Disney and Pixar will put out like really good movies, but a lot of them just have no emotion anymore.
Did you not see Inside Out 2? It was all emotions. The whole movie's emotions.
Inside Out 2 was correct, and that was almost on my honorable mention. So
Yeah,
it just seems to me that just DreamWorks puts out just good movies, and Pixar and Disney puts out like good animated movies, where this one, to me, you don't even realize you're watching animated. In my
the style, this was my number 5 pick The style of it was amazing. This is one of the ones I went into because I'll just go to a random Tuesday movie with friends because it's cheap and we enjoy it. We saw this and we all came out of it being like, "Wow, that was really fucking good. That was great."
Yeah.
It was highly enjoyable. The cast, great
Mark
voice
Hamill in this?
cast. Mark Hamill is in this. He's incredible. I didn't
Pedro
realize it was Mark Hamill
Pascal.
towards the end. Yeah, Pedro Pascal, Lupita Nyong'o. There's a ton of people. The humor is great.
Mark
The
Hamill's
possums.
in it. Which
Yeah.
character did he play?
Mark Hamill's the bear.
Oh, got it. Yep.
The possums. I
Oh.
couldn't stop laughing at the
Funny.
possums.
Oh yeah,
They were so funny.
100%.
But it had a lot of heart. The style to it was great. It was definitely one of the bigger surprises of the year for me, and I highly recommend it. Is it made for kids? Yes. Are you as an adult going to enjoy it? Yes.
Awesome.
Yep.
I gotta check this one out. Maybe the first fiance of comics night. We'll have a fun night with this one. Chin, why don't you go into your number 2? Because I believe it was on both mine and Sean's honorable mentions, and then we could
Yeah.
hear why Sean is a heathen, and we'll talk about.
And I am just gonna apologize again, Mike, because I'm swearing left and right on this. But how the fuck is this not on any of your lists,
Okay,
guys?
Do you want my response, or do you want to take?
No, I'm just throwing it out there. But my number one pick, far and away, was Dune 2. This movie was a cinematic masterpiece. Denis Villeneuve is a masterclass filmmaker. Is it a sequel? Yes, I don't effing care. It tells the same story. It continues the story. The cast of Chalamet kills it. Zendaya, Javier Bardem. I mean, Josh Brolin. Rebecca Ferguson. The entire cast. Austin Butler. Florence Pugh. Walken is in there. It's such a great cast. Such an amazing movie. The cinematography is it's such a beautifully shot movie. This is a sci-fi movie that makes you love sci-fi, and Denis Villeneuve is so good at that. I mean, between Dune 2, he did Arrival.
I love Arrival.
So many others. He's Prisoners. So good at it. He's on other. I'm just talking sci-fi, but Prisoners is. I mean, well, I'll talk about Hugh Jackman's acting in a second, but yeah, this movie was just so well done. The second I saw it, I was like, it's going to be hard pressed for another movie to beat this for me this year. And I was right. There's a lot of great movies, but this made me excited to go to the movies, and it did not disappoint.
And it was an early movie. I believe it was February. I saw this in IMAX.
It was March, very beginning of March. Yep.
Yes.
Originally, this was supposed to be the end of 2023, which would have really put that year over the top for great movies. But they're like, hey, you know what? We got to throw 2024 a bone, and let's throw Dune in there. And oh my God, it's such a good 1 and 2. Can't say enough about them. Movies are phenomenal. 2 did not disappoint in the slightest.
I'll just chime in quick. Listen, everything you said is correct. I agree. Looks great, directed great. The cast is great. A big factor for me is rewatchability, and this is not a huge negative about this film, but with my taste personally, I'm more of that superhero horror. I like sci-fi, but sci-fi probably almost takes the next rung of my interest. So I watched this, saw it in IMAX. That was great. I have not wanted to rewatch it. But once again, that's not a fault to the movie. It's just my personal interest. But yeah, Villeneuve does a great job. I'm looking forward to the third one. I want to watch that Dune Prophecy series that's on.
So they got the series going on HBO right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, that's why it's no fault to the movie, and I respect the hell of this movie. I hope it gets nominated for a ton of things.
If this doesn't win Best Cinematography,
oh yeah, agree.
What's wrong with you, Academy?
Yeah, I would agree with all what you said. My list probably had a little bit of recency bias, so maybe that's why it was not on my top 10. It was on my honorable mentions. I think to me, just because like Dune 1 and Dune 2 to me are like, it's the same thing. I know it's not the
story. It's one story.
Yeah. It's just, so that's probably why it's not higher for me, because I feel like I saw it before. Which again doesn't take away from anything. As you said, the acting in this is is phenomenal. Javier Bardem's, he stole the show for me. I really love him as an actor. Definitely looking forward to seeing more from this franchise and these series as well, which I haven't started up yet.
And then so to get me back on Chin's great graces, Deadpool and Wolverine. This was, no Nosferatu in this. It's like a 1A, 1B.
I mean, so yeah, this was your number 1,
Your
my number 2, Sean's number 10. So yeah,
I'll say why,
Mike,
in a second.
I'm a fan. You can make a case. This is, if you were to tell me this is your favorite Marvel trilogy, I count it. Why not? I'd agree. I wouldn't hate you for that. So it's a great third movie to the Deadpool franchise. Seeing Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine. Then finally, we've seen this bromance of Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, hyping up this movie, and beforehand everything with, from X-Men Origins, to finally see it on film, see him in the costume. You had one of you will probably talk about the cameos and more about those, but the cameos are great. One in particular that begins with the B was my personal favorite. So I was just, this was just fun. I enjoyed it. Yeah, I'll let you guys, Chin or Sean.
Chin was your number 2.
We'll have you defend yours after. No, yeah, this was my number 2. This was a blast of a movie. I was looking forward to all year. It was highly anticipated. It did not let down. In my opinion, it's the best out of the 3.
Agreed.
This is how a multiverse movie should be done. Don't get me wrong, Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. He's great. Hugh Jackman in this movie acts his goddamn heart out.
Absolutely.
He's absolutely incredible. There's a couple scenes in particular you're like, wow, he is just acting circles around everybody. Absolutely great. Yeah, the cameos were super, super fun. I wish some of them weren't spoiled, but that's a whole nother story. But
yeah,
this was a great entry into the MCU, while it's also a great cap off for the Fox universe.
Those credits
I grew up on, and it's a great send off for all those movies as well. Plus, I'm not going to get into spoilers, but I got an overly accurate portrayal of my favorite all time character, which was he done that way for the movie? Yes, but I enjoyed it. So it was very well done. It is funny, and it's got a lot of heart, which is what you want out of these movies. So that's why it was my number 2. Sean, why was it your number 10?
So it was on the top 10.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
And this is gonna say with a lot of love, because I really enjoyed the movie. It was probably the most fun I had in a theater. With all the cameos, I'm a huge Hugh Jackman as Wolverine fan. Huge Ryan Reynolds fan as Deadpool, of course, because now when I see a Deadpool comic or like I read it, like it's with Ryan Reynolds' voice. It's with nothing else, right? Like I imagine him doing it. To me, the reason why it wasn't higher, I don't think it was a really good movie. I think the cameos really sort of held it up. So just personally, I don't think it's a good movie. It's just a really fun movie that I enjoyed watching. So that's okay. Just my sort of reason why it's not higher on the list.
That's fair. I disagree, but that's fair. That's fair.
And then I feel free. I put a little honorable mention slide together. We could go. Runaway Dolls, or my bad, Drive Away Dolls. That was a fun comedy that went straight to Hulu. I don't want to give anything away, but it's a fun. That was a good comedy, I thought. Godzilla Kong. Listen, I don't want much. I don't expect much. I'm easily entertained, but I thought Dan Stevens again was great in that. You have giant monsters fighting each other. I thought that was the strongest human characters we've had in that monster universe.
You know what though? You know what gets me about this movie? Because I saw this movie and it's
Yeah.
absolutely a porn flick, and that's great.
Yeah.
But I think if they just took a little bit more time and flushed out a little bit of it, these movies would be,
Oh, agreed.
dare I say, like revered. They went too much for the popcorn style to where they actually could have made like solid movies.
And if they don't, and I enjoyed watching with my son, but if just I don't want Godzilla. I don't want King Kong to have like an axe.
Yeah.
Again, they went too far into like
Agreed.
that popcorn kind of style. He's suplexing them on the pyramids and stuff, which is all
Godzilla
fun and
riding
great.
Kong riding Godzilla. Like,
Yeah,
There's enough of these movies where I'm like, if you just tweak this a little bit,
Oh.
you have like a genuinely good movie set with the backdrop of these
the
kaiju monsters.
the King
And
of
they
the
didn't
Monsters
go that way, unfortunately.
with Ghidorah. Like, if they had
Yeah.
a better human plot, if the humans were
Not even that. Like they just tweak some of the stuff to it to like give it more heart instead of like going for style over substance. These movies would be so much better than they are. That's
agreed.
my take on that.
A couple. I know Shaun had Alien Romulus.
That was an honorable mention for me.
That was my 10th for a while.
yeah. It was. I
was
thought
fun.
it was a super solid Alien entry.
That scene with the
Arguably
face
the
huggers,
third
man.
best.
Scared
That
the
scene is the
shit
best
out of me.
scene.
Yeah.
Scared the shit out of me.
That
Yeah,
scene's
it
the
was
best scene, and arguably it's probably like the third best Alien movie in that franchise.
Yeah, it was
If not-
close to my list. I thought all of how the ship looked, I thought was amazing. So I thought it was the set design on this one was one of my favorite overall of
Yeah.
the year.
I didn't see Gladiator 2. Did you guys?
I enjoyed it. It's not like it doesn't like break from the first one, but like it contradicts it a little bit with a few things. But the acting was phenomenal. The action scenes are fun.
It was
Again,
popcorn
I mean,
flick.
it was,
I
but with
enjoyed-
great acting. Denzel was phenomenal. Paul
I've heard
Mescal, Joseph Quinn was great as one of
Mhm.
the emperors. I forget the other kid's name, but he played like the other twin emperor. He was great.
I-
Good
Yeah.
acting.
I
Good
gotta
movie.
ask: does it make sense how they get sharks in the Coliseum, or just strap in for the ride? And
Yeah, so
They
they
don't
actually
explain.
they don't explain it. It just happens. But I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong about this, but I remember reading a long time ago, they actually
I
did
think-
used to fill the Coliseum with water.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
That's like a
Yeah.
real thing. I don't know about the sharks and stuff, but
Yeah,
they
probably
actually
not
did-
sharks because I don't think sharks are really from that region. But,
yeah, but they would do like aquatic battles in there.
I didn't
think
know
that I think that is actually historically accurate.
So I didn't get Chin's honorable mentions. So these are a mix of still probably Chin, myself, and Sean. Did you guys see Beverly Hills Asheville F? I did.
That was
Really nice.
mine. I'm a huge
The
Eddie
original's great.
Murphy, Axel Foley fan. This one, it's streaming only, Netflix. Just a feel good, nostalgic comedy. It's with all the actors from the original ones with him. It's just overall a fun watch.
That's on my list. My old ass. I
I
Phenomenal.
really
thought
wanted
it
to
was
see this.
comedy.
I love Aubrey
Phenomenal
Plaza.
movie.
I wanted to see it. It was one of the ones I just didn't have time to. So that it will be seen soon.
It was
I
in
don't-
my top 10. I had it in my top 10 for a little bit, and I was
Same.
like, let me drop it out. But good movie.
I thought it was going to be a comedy going into it. It's more of a coming of age, kind of a little low key tearjerker. But like you got Aubrey Plaza's great. I forgot the actress's name, who is the younger version of Aubrey Plaza. I thought they had great chemistry together, and this was I thought a fun film. Did any of you guys, going back to comedies? This was also this was 10 for a bit for me.
This was an honorable mention for me as well. I highly enjoyed this.
Ricky Stenicki. I love John Cena and Zac Efron.
Mhm.
This
Andrew
was like,
Santino was great.
yeah.
Yeah, this was like we talked about not enough comedies. This was a fun,
Yes.
raunchiest, not super raunchy, but like this was a fun comedy movie that's like just a classic, like This is so stupidly fun. You know,
Yeah.
Willie makes Macy as their boss. It
That's
was
right.
it was it was
Great.
good. This was a solid movie.
And then I wanted to put this on there because it's one of my all time favorite comic book storyline. The DC animated universe. This was in 3 parts. They went the route of taking their own spin on it. The first 2 parts I was iffy on. I thought this third does a great job of tying past DC animated properties from going back to the Super Friends till now as we go into James Gunn's now universe. I thought this was a fun finale to that, all the DC animated stuff. I would say if you're a completist, watch all 3. There is a quick, night to watch all those or whatever. This was my favorite part, and it's a good way if you watch this leading into like James Gunn's universe. I thought it does a very good job. I'm curious, did any of you guys see any of these?
I did not.
I think I've seen one of them. I forget which one.
Because part 1, I don't like how they do the Flash. I'll warn you, Chin. They do the Flash a little dirty.
I'm out. I love the Flash. Sorry, go on.
You could probably.
I like the DC animated stuff. I probably will watch them at some point.
They do a good job connecting like this current phase of DC animation, tying it back to the New 52 style animation, and once again going to the James Gunn universe. So yeah, and that's where I stand on that. Before we kind of go to an end. Any other honorable mentions, you guys?
I had I'll just list them off the ones that you guys didn't talk about. I had Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire. I enjoyed it. Not as good as Afterlife, but I enjoyed it. Inside Out 2, great. All emotions, Sean. Quiet Place Day 1, I enjoyed quite a bit. Gladiator 2, Moana 2 was pretty fun.
That's on my short list of worst movies of the year.
It was. I mean, it was all right. It's no number 1, that's for damn sure, but it wasn't bad. But Alien Romulus we talked about, and Beetlejuice was also an honorable mention.
I think mine was Beetlejuice, Alien Romulus, like we just said, Gladiator 2, Twisters, Abigail, Dune 2, and the Beverly Hills Cop 4.
And I'll quickly go into disappointments of the year. I was not a fan of Frozen Empire, Ghostbusters, but I think I love the first one so much. It's funny, the Mean Girls remake, and I'd never seen the original until this year. So I watched the original, loved it. Did not care for the remake. There's some good actresses.
Usually.
The Bob Marley biopic. So why I really want to check out the Bob Dylan one, the Bob Marley one, I felt didn't land. It was good, well acted. The music was good, but I wasn't a big fan of. My biggest hate, and I know you guys didn't see it, Joker Folie à Don't waste your time watching this movie. It's a shame. It ruins the original.
Say what?
Sorry, Joker Folie à
Oh, okay. All right. I was like, what did you say?
They really, I don't know. Todd Phillips might never get a job again in Hollywood because he doesn't do sequels too well, and this might be his last. But to take a great movie that didn't need a sequel, but you add Lady Gaga, you try to do a continuation from the first one, and you just missed the ball completely. There's conspiracies about it. You can look those up, but it's such a shame. I normally don't say this about sequels, but it ruins what the first one established. If you guys want to add any disappointments from the year.
I think we were chatting a little bit. It was I saw the TV Glow, if that was, it had all the indie buzz from a horror flick. I just did not get it and did not enjoy it. Like I mentioned when Chin said Moana 2, my kids loved it. I just thought the storyline I felt was just super forced. Still great voice acting. These songs aren't as good as the first one, which is really hard to do for animated children's flicks. Frozen does it pretty good. Let's see the other ones. I think that's really all that I can remember. That was Venom was just not
Didn't even see
good.
it.
I had a fun time with it. But
I
I totally get it.
It was fun
Fun
enough.
Noel looked cool. We'll never see him probably, but Noel was cool.
Yeah. Salem's Lot. I did not.
I heard too much bad press, and I didn't watch it.
I did not think they did Salem's Lot good. It felt forced, and the acting just was not great in it. But yeah,
That's 2024 movies, guys.
Yeah. But yeah, everyone, thanks for tuning in, putting your favorites in the comments. Guys, thanks for joining us. Sean, anything you'd like to plug before we head out?
Nope. You'll find me at comics_CT on the gram. I don't really have any shows coming up. It's cold as hell outside.
It is.
It's just
Well, I think I'm in a hat and sweater right now.
being indoors. Yeah.
Chin?
Yeah, you can find me over on 3 Men in the Basement. We're always doing stuff. I think we're going live this Friday. Who knows? I think we are, though. I just dropped an awesome collection video. Hopefully you guys go watch, take a look at that. Next Saturday the 1st, I'm going to be up in Ipswich, Clam City. Buzz Comics puts on a great show at a brewery. Check it out. And then February 8th, if you are in the New England area, we have our 3 Men in the Basement comic crawl. We're going to be up in Mass, New Hampshire. We're doing giveaways, a bunch of other fun stuff all day long. 3 awesome shops. Great day of hanging out. And that's all I got for now.
And I don't have much. You guys know I have always ideas cooking in the noggin, but
Top 10 documentaries. We're going live tomorrow. Be there, people.
Be there, be square. 3 a.m. So yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in. Tell a friend who hasn't and subscribed. I got one new subscriber during this. That was great. And take it easy, everyone.
Yeah, Noah, thanks for finally subscribing, you son of a.
Yeah,
it wasn't Noah.
Also, sorry for all the swearing.
I avoided it, so as long as I kept it clean, it's okay in my book. Peace, guys.
See you guys. Have a good night.
Word.